It's time to take off your clothes, enjoy clothes-free living, and join us for Naked, Nudists, and Naturists.
Welcome to Naked, Nudists, and Naturists, the show that celebrates clothes-free living for all. I'm your host, Frank Stone.
And I'm your correspondent, Lisa Monroe, and I'll be reporting on all things within the naturist community. So it's time to get naked and join us.
And enjoy clothes-free living on Naked, Nudists, and Naturists. Well, greetings and welcome in to Naked, Nudists, and Naturists, episode 147 today. Really glad that you're with us to enjoy this next hour. Naturism, nudism, clothes-free living for all of the right reasons. If you can join us and be clothes-free for the hour, so much the better. If you cannot, if you're in a place that you better have your clothes on, a bank, a school, a store, a post office, walking down Main Street, keep your clothes on, continue to listen to us. We're just glad that you are here, ready to enjoy the next hour with us. So come on in. The pool water is great. We even put the pool heater on this morning for those of you who get chilled easily. The hot tub is fired up, ready to go. The grill is going full bore. Fruits and vegetables off to the right. Cold drinks off to the left. Hot drinks inside. If you exit the pool door on the left, you'll find a hammock strung between two trees. Need a break? Want to get away from it all for a few moments? Need a nap? That's your place to go. Behind the pool area, we have 3 putting greens, and off to the right, believe it or not, we have a little bocce ball court there, and we're running out of space quickly. But all those things were recommended by listeners, and we appreciate those suggestions very much. So come on in. We have extra chairs, extra towels, extra lotion. We have it all. We just need you, and then the whole picture is complete. So come on in, and let's enjoy this next hour together. Clothes-free living for all of the right reasons. Well, on today's show, of course, Lisa Monroe will be here in just a moment. She's beginning to walk through the door right now as I speak, and we will talk about a variety of topics going on in the world of naturism. And then we'll have part 2 of my interview with Stephanie Brown. She and her husband Chris run the Indiana Naturists, a non-landed nudist club in Indiana. A lot of terrific going on there, a terrific club. Stephanie is terrific, her husband Chris is terrific. So part 2 today with Stephanie Brown from Indiana Naturists. I don't know about you, but as I've been talking here the last few moments, I thought I heard some music. Let's listen for a moment. Oh yes, I hear it. I'm sure you can hear it too, because it's time for the great, the terrific, the completely over-the-top, fully clothes-free and fully smiling, our naturism correspondent, Lisa Monroe. And here she is, the one and only, the one-of-a-kind, the completely clothes-free and fully smiling, our naturism correspondent, Lisa Monroe. Good morning, Lisa. How are you today?
Good morning, Frank. I'm doing terrific. How about yourself today?
Not bad at all. What would happen, I've asked this question before, but it's been a while, if we get to your segment and I don't play the music and I don't give you the big fancy Las Vegas introduction, what would you do?
I would want to know what was wrong with you. I mean, you have your orders. You know what you're supposed to do, I thought.
Yeah, if I just said, okay, you're listening to episode, in this case, 147, and here's Lisa Monroe. Good morning, Lisa. You would be stunned. I'm guessing you wouldn't even be able to speak for a moment.
I would be surprised, let's put it that way, but the important thing is getting on with the show. So I guess I'd probably just, react and go on, and then we'd have a chat afterwards.
Mostly with you doing the talking, I'm guessing?
Perhaps. No.
What if I left the studio quickly and drove away and you couldn't talk to me?
I know where you are at all times. It's not a problem. I can find you. The thing is, I think it's fun, and you've kind of established this wonderful intro that you give me, and so people expect it. So you'll be letting down not just me, but a whole lot of other people too.
Oh, true. Yeah, I was just curious how you would react on the spot. I know there were some people out there because they've told us they actually say that along with me.
Yes, they do.
I change it sometimes, add a word here or take a word out, but for the most part, it's the same message. So they just to themselves, oh, here he goes. the one and only. They just kind of say it with me.
Yeah,
I still do the same thing with certain radio people because it's I know what they're going to say, so I say it with them. It's just kind of a way to have fun, right?
it is a way to have fun. And just so everyone knows, I never asked for that intro. That was all done by Mr. Stone.
That is true. You didn't ask for music. You didn't ask for anything. You just said,
No,
yeah, yeah. And I don't think I'm sure I didn't start introducing you that way from episode one. I'm not sure when we kicked in with that, but it wasn't right
I
at
don't.
the beginning.
I don't know either. I think I don't know. We'd have to go back and look because it's been a while.
But it's been a long time. Yeah. It
Yes, it has.
many, many moons and episodes ago. Uh,
Wow.
yeah, episode 147, December 6th. Hard to believe. We're ending the 2.5 year point pretty soon and still going strong. We haven't missed a Saturday yet. Can you believe that? Since July 1st of 2023. Unbelievable. Can you believe it?
No, it's hard to believe. I mean, it just, as we've said before, it seems like it was yesterday, and it also seems like it was 12 years ago. So, because it seems like we've always been doing this. And I guess that's because we enjoy doing it. So we feel like, this is kind of something that it's part of our life, and we don't know what to do if we're not doing it. So,
That's true. What do we do with ourselves now? We have 5 minutes of free time. I don't know what to do. Not that it takes 5 minutes to do the show. That was
no.
merely being silly. But anyway, there's somebody out there, a couple people putting out the word that we do all of these shows. Haven't missed a Saturday since July 1st of 23. And now we're doing every Wednesday. It's because we have this huge team here to do all this.
Yeah.
You and I merely show up and record a bit, and then we go home or to the beach and have iced tea all day, while 50 other people come in and edit and coordinate and produce and post produce. And no, when it comes to the actual physical uh, output of the product, I am the entire team.
Mhm.
And that's not bragging. It's just there is no team. There is no I in team. There is no I
Mm.
in me. I'm it. And everything else, and we've talked about that, the website, the merchandise, the list goes on, that's all Lisa. There's no team. I was going to say there is no I in Lisa, but that would be a false statement. There is one I in Lisa, but we're it. I mean, whatever you hear is the results of me actually doing the work alone, and
Mhm.
whatever you see is the work of Lisa working alone. There is no team. Jennifer coordinates a few things, but doesn't have anything to do with the actual product.
Mhm.
Anything you want to add to that?
No, it's just, I'm not a professional graphic artist. I played around on Photoshop for a long time. And so it's like, this is sometimes it takes me longer than 5 minutes to do some things that we do. And sometimes I mess them up and have to do them over. And, sometimes that's at 2 o'clock in the morning too. But, the thing about it is that again, we enjoy it. So this is not real work to us. It's just fun. I mean, I love making the memes, whether they're good or not, doesn't matter. I love doing that. And I love working with the website and with the merchandise and interacting along that way. So, it's fun.
Yeah, the output of the show and what you hear and what you see is a result of two people, I'll say it, busting their fannies, busting their ever loving fannies. And yes, we enjoy it. We know that you, the listener, enjoy it. So we keep doing it because everybody enjoys it. And we're bringing information and knowledge and some entertainment to the world through naturism. So it's just us. There is no team here. So hopefully that's the last time we have to address that. It
I
had
agree.
somebody was asking, why doesn't so and so do more shows like Frank and Lisa? Well, Frank and Lisa have a team. No, we don't. We just work a whole lot harder than your average human being, I guess, putting out shows. But enough of that. Let's move on.
Yes.
As everybody knows, we have a Patreon page here, and we turned down paid work to do this show. A brilliant business decision, said nobody ever. There are expenses, and we ask you to step forward and give whatever you could to our Patreon page and become a PPP, a paying Patreon peep. And on each show, we try to highlight two people who have become PPPs. And Lisa Monroe, who do we have today?
Today there's Todd and Jeffrey. And welcome aboard, guys. We're happy to have you.
Very much so. Todd, thank you very much. Jeffrey, thank you very much. Thank you to all who continue to contribute month after month. We appreciate you very much. And we do have something coming. We'll probably wait till January or maybe even early February to release it. just for our PPPs, especially the top two tiers. We'll wait until we get there, but something is coming, so hang in there with us. And thank you for joining and being with us as a Patreon person. All right, Lisa, you are heavily involved in merchandise. So there's something else. No team, just Lisa. What's new and great in the world of merchandise?
There's, busy, but I'm really, really pleased to say we've been busy, and there's a lot of people, I think starting to get things maybe for their favorite naturists for the holidays. And if you have something you want to buy for someone else or for yourself for the holidays, just go to nakednudistandnaturist.com, click on the in shop at the top, and just shop to your little heart's content.
That's true.
And do so pretty quickly because this is, the first week in December. So although the company we use is very quick about turning product around and getting it to you, usually it's less than a week or 10 days. You just never know with the holiday rush and shipping and all of that. So if you're going to get something, get it soon.
Yeah, we got a photo, and I didn't ask permission of the gentleman to discuss this, so I won't mention his name. But he sent us a photo and holding up, but first of all, he had a Naked Nudist and Naturist t-shirt. He had a Naked Nudist and Naturist hat on his head. He was holding another Naked Nudist and Naturist hat, and he was holding a Naked Nudist and Naturist coffee mug. Now, there's a guy who's locked into the show, I would say, twice a week. What do you think?
Yes, and you forgot he was also holding a beach towel.
Oh, that's right.
Hmm. Our kind of listener. No, we just really appreciate the fact that he felt, that he wanted those things, and we're really, really happy for that. What I had got a kick out of was that he had the knit cap,
Mm-hmm.
the, funny little knit cap that we thought we were doing. He had the knit cap on, and he didn't have it pulled down too far, so the top of it was sticking up, and he looked absolutely adorable. So in that cap, it stands out definitely, and the in is pretty good size on it, so it stands out as well.
Yeah, and I think if I remember correctly, he lives in a cold weather climate, so the knit cap comes in handy right about now.
Absolutely, so it's going to be good for him.
And while he did have a t-shirt on, he had nothing on below the waist.
Yep.
And my initial thought was, wow, should we have Naked Nudist and Naturist underwear? And then I realized we don't want to put clothes on people, right?
No, not at all.
All right.
T-shirts are for for those comings and goings and those, accidental times when you have to put one on.
There you go. All right. And how do people find our merchandise page to stock up?
As I said, nakednudistandnaturist.com, and just click on in shop and then just start scrolling.
That'll work. Order up. Christmas is almost here. You better get moving quickly and take care of that. So we appreciate that, and we appreciate you, Lisa, very much for doing all that. All right, we have some letters from listeners today. The first one we had planned to read last week, but time ran short, but we'll get to it today, and I told him it would be delayed. This is from James, and right away, James is in, I'm going to put him in the timeout chair in the corner because it starts off, hello again, Lisa, Jennifer, and Frank. Put me in last place. That's okay, James. We love you anyway. If you want to take the first paragraph, Lisa, go right ahead.
This is James from Arizona. I'm currently listening to episode 140. Yes, I know I'm behind. You are reading listener mail about whether or not to post pictures or video. I thought I'd give my 2 cents.
Right. And then he said, I would like to have a picture, headshot only, of what you all look like. I was thinking you could send video to the PPPs, and that should weed out those individuals with prurient interest. However, remember that anything put on the internet, including email, could be there forever. And fantastic show as always. Keep up the great work, James. Now I was not a part of facilitating this, but 25 years ago, so I was 2 because we're 27.
Yeah.
Working at a corporation, they brought this attorney in who was allegedly an expert on the internet. Now the internet was fairly new 25 years ago, believe it or not. It seems like it's been here 1,000 years, but it hasn't. And he spoke about the dangers of the internet, what you should post and not post, and it could come back to bite you in your employment. And that's what he was there for. He's an employment attorney with a specialization in internet stuff. And he said 25 years ago, he said, once you put it on the internet, it is there forever. He said, even if you delete it, even if you wipe it away or take all the precautions, oh no, it's still out there. Maybe not everybody can get it, but there are certain people who know how to get everything. He said, so be really careful. You have a wild Saturday night, you post a photo. Sunday morning, you take it down. It's not gone. It's still there somewhere. So when he says, anything you put on the internet, including email, could be there forever. Well, according to this attorney, it is there forever. So just a word of caution, right?
Very much so, and it's true in all walks of life. It doesn't have to do with just our naturism world and the impact it can have on our jobs or our social life of people who don't know, or our friendships, our family. But it's also extremely important for business purposes, and also if you're going to do something like go into politics or anything, if you're not squeaky clean, somebody's going to find it. And we see that happening every single day. Someone's discovered they've made a tweet about something 10 years ago that was, uncalled for then and certainly uncalled for in their position now. So it's the same with CEOs or accountants or secretaries or anybody that's out there. Protect yourself, be smart. Don't put everything you know on the internet.
Yeah.
Don't put your personal stuff on the internet.
Yeah. Now, we have no issue putting ourselves out there. We are naturists. We're open
Yeah.
about it. We just haven't because we're radio people. We've explained that before. And we like to get our message through just the voice and setting the stage and the tone like you do when you're writing a book and then reading the book. You have to create certain images in your mind. That's all. That's all there is to it. There's no issue with putting ourselves out there. We're still thinking about that, and that's part of the Patreon plans down the road. But James, thank you very much for that. The next one is a letter from Tim, and he played it safe. Instead of, hey, Frank and Lisa, or Lisa, Frank, he just said, hi, guys. So
Smart man.
I think so. You want to take the first paragraph? Go right ahead.
I only discovered your wonderful podcast a couple of months ago and almost caught up.
Oh,
I'd like to share with you the moment I knew I was a naturist. I'd always felt comfortable being naked, but was self conscious until a time in Thailand. I had just had a massage, a proper one, and stood up and started chatting to the masseuse.
I'll continue on. I was standing there naked, chatting with her. She opened the curtain, still chatting, and another worker walked past, saw me, and she was embarrassed. And I was confused. Then I realized it's because I was still naked. I didn't realize I was still naked and was totally comfortable, and that's from Tim. And that's true. When you are a pure naturist, you're not like, hey, baby, look what I have. Hey, do you notice I'm naked? I'm naked again. As long as you're a pure naturist, you don't even think about it. It's just normal and natural. That's how you live. And I've mentioned this a couple thousand times in the show. I keep a pair of shorts and a T-shirt at my front door so I don't go wandering out naked. Not that I'm senile yet, but it's so normal and natural. I am very likely to walk out the front door because I've just spent the last 10, 12, 24 hours naked. Why would I think to put on clothes as a naturist? I wouldn't. So I have to have the physical reminder there. And so, yeah, when you're a naturist and you're just naked and clothes free and somebody sees you, you don't think, oh my gosh, I'm naked. You just like, what is she embarrassed about? Oh, well, anyway, oh, that's right, I'm naked. Any thoughts on his note?
I think he's exactly right. And I think that's true of anything, not just naturism, but it's true in how we respond to other people. When we start to forget the labels that people put on things and just react with the person, then, all of that goes away and you become comfortable with whatever that is going on. So I think, but, just to suddenly realize, hey, I'm naked, she's not, but it's okay because, it's just okay. It's normal.
Yeah, that's true. I had something happen once. I never told you about this, by the way, only because it just didn't come up in conversation.
Okay.
But this guy, a guy I knew reasonably well, needed to come over and pick something up from me. It was a book or something. And he said, "Are you still hang out naked in your?" I was in a condo at the time. "You still hanging out naked all the time?" And I said, "Well, yeah, that's kind of what I do." He goes, "Okay, all right, no problem. I'll be there in a few minutes." So he came over and came in, and yeah, I was clothes free. It's he knew that, and no big deal. And so we're just standing there talking by my door. Inside the door was closed, and we're talking about the book and this, that, and the other thing. And I said, "Okay, anything else?" He goes, "No, I'm all set." He goes, "Do you realize you're standing here fully naked talking to me?" And I said, "Well, yeah, why?" And he said, it's just amazing." He goes, "Frank, I need to be more like you." He goes, and he said, in all seriousness, "How do I get that comfortable that I can just stand there talking to a guy with no clothes on?" And I didn't really have an answer other than just take your clothes off and stand there. And if you don't feel comfortable right away, it won't take long before you do, because we're not normalizing naturism. It's already normal. We're just telling people, reminding people that it is normal, right? Any comment?
Absolutely, and I mean, I think that's if we could all get to that point, and that we realize this is normal because, again, we were this way from the beginning. We put clothes on for other reasons, and there are real reasons for clothing yourself and protecting your body, but we just need to, not treat this as something, exotic or strange or bad or whatever. We just need to have it be what it is, and that's just natural.
Yeah, absolutely. And we thank you again, Tim, for that note. We have one more letter we want to get to today, and this is from Brian. I like Brian already. Hello, hello, Frank and Lisa. Take it from there.
I wrote to you several months ago and was looking for credible naturist information, and I came across your podcast, Avid Listener. You speak and confirm every one of my beliefs on what naturism represents. Thank you so much for explaining things in a professional and informative way, Brian.
Well, that's very nice, Brian. A professional and informative way, and that is what we try to do, is spread the information and get the knowledge out there and the understanding that being clothes-free is normal and natural. And sure, we try to, make it at least somewhat entertaining and a little funny occasionally. But the message is the core of what we do here. Spreading the word, as we like to say here, clothes-free and living for all the right reasons. Lisa Monroe, any thoughts on Brian's note?
Yeah, I think it's a very nice note and it's very much appreciated. And, I think that one of the things about the informative way that there was a path that opened up to us because of our listeners who came back to us with information and with concerns and with issues and with problems or with things that were wonderful about naturism. And I think we learned what the information is that people need just from hearing from them. And it's been a great path for us to do that.
Yeah, very much so. It's just it's a great world to live in terms of the clothes free for all the right reasons world. And when you get to that point, you just realize, like everybody I think in the world has admitted who ventured into naturism, why didn't I try this before? Why did I wait so long? And I'm definitely not going back to the other way. Now, that doesn't mean putting yourself out there and walking down Main Street, naked, or walking to the bank naked. Hopefully we'll get there someday. It might not be by tomorrow, but that's what we're shooting for. Why have clothes on? What exactly is the issue? They say, well, that could get kind of dangerous and could be sexual intent. You think a guy fully dressed in the grocery store eyeing the lady on aisle 3 and doesn't have sexual intent? Not every guy, but, some guys do. So that doesn't really cause sexual intent. It just causes clothes for living for all the right reasons, feeling relaxed, comfortable, and normal, right?
Absolutely. And I think that, we considering the barriers that we have right now to being naturists, and they seem to be getting stronger and stronger and more of them, it's important that we keep to the message, and that is that this is a natural thing. This is a non-sexual thing. This is just bodies enjoying the environment and being happy.
Yep, I fully agree. And Lisa Monroe with that. Let's head for the hills. And as long as you promise to stay clothes-free, we'll see you at the end of the show. Is that a deal?
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
All right, see you then. Very terrific, Lisa Monroe. I can listen to that song forever, and admittedly, I don't mind watching her dance out of here either. And I don't enjoy that she's leaving. I just enjoy the dancing. I hope I made that clear and don't get in further trouble. Lisa does a whole bunch around here, you know that. Does our website, does our memes, does all of our merchandise, and so much more. And we thank Lisa Monroe for all of her time on these shows, as well as everything that she does around here. As a reminder, we are the official podcast for the American Association for Nude Recreation. Are you a member? If so, that is great. But if not, you can become one today. Just go to AANR.com, follow the navigation to membership, and within moments, just like Lisa Monroe is, just like I am, you will be a fully fledged member of the American Association for Nude Recreation. How about that? Well, you are listening to Naked Nudists and Naturists, episode 147 today. We really appreciate you being with us. Hope you're able to have a clothes-free day for all the right reasons today. And now let's get to part two of my interview with Stephanie Brown. She and her husband Chris Brown run the Indiana Naturist Club and Non-Landed Nudist Club out of Indiana. Part two with Stephanie Brown. The one I get a kick out of everything you guys do because you're very creative and you pay attention to detail. Next May 16, nude bowling again, same details. Crazy socks.
Yes.
I've had these days at work. It's been a long time. I never enjoyed them. I thought they were ridiculous.
Right.
But, wear your crazy socks to work. So there I am in a suit, suit, tie, dress shoes, and ridiculous socks. I thought, this makes no sense at all. But as a nudist, that's all you're wearing, right? You show up, you get naked, you can leave your crazy socks on, and that's it, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way to go. That's when crazy socks have true meaning. If they're hidden under a suit or down below,
Nobody
you can see them through a dress. Yeah,
right.
Just naked as jaybirds. And instead of looking at your eyes that night, they might focus on your socks as well. So you got to be prepared for that, right?
Exactly. Yeah, they're going to be looking at your feet to see what kind of crazy socks you have on, and if they can figure out what they are, what makes them crazy.
That's right. That's exactly right. Well, one thing that I noticed about your club is you do a lot of activities. Now, we just talked about the 3 bowling ones, but you also have, I'm just going to list them off from your website, skinny dipping get-togethers. You have a monthly member hosted meetings, nude bowling, of course, hot tub parties, which you mentioned, group resort trips, fundraisers, bonfires, camping trips, game nights, potluck dinners, nude volleyball. You know all about the camping trips, of course. That's how you got into this whole thing.
Right.
How often do you do something? Is it once a week? Is it once or twice a month or what?
We try to plan something at least once a month. That way, people are able to get out. Sometimes we'll try to do twice a month. That's usually the maximum that we'll do for, planned events. And then, of course, we always have, if anybody is in the Fort Wayne area, they're more than welcome to come out anytime and just hang out and visit with us. But we try to plan things at a minimum of once a month. And a lot of times during the summer, we try to go to the different resorts in the area just so that we can help support the landed clubs. And then also because a lot of times people in our group, they're dipping their feet into it, they've never been to a resort before. We want to make sure that they're able to go with a group of people that they already know so that they're not quite as, apprehensive about going someplace new by themselves. And then they get a chance to experience other places.
Yeah. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't ask the following question because everybody either has an issue with this or they've learned how to deal with it. I know you work from home, but there have been times in your past, I'm guessing, where you've worked amongst other people, and maybe you still do on occasion. Do they know about this? Are there any issues that you've encountered along the way?
Well, I've been at my current job for about a year and a half. Only a few people know that I'm a nudist. When at my previous position, I had been with that company for close to 30 years, and just about everybody I worked with knew. So, and I get mixed reactions from people. I told a couple of friends, and this is really funny in a way. I told 2 of my close friends at work that, I was dating a nudist. And one of them was just like, "Oh my God, that's awful. That's disgusting." And the other one was like, "Okay, yeah, I see that."
Yeah.
And the funny thing is the one that was more receptive to it was very Catholic. She went to church every Sunday, very religious, and I think she had more pure thoughts about it. My other friend, she had a lake cottage. She liked to go party and drink a lot. And I think she just instantly went to that, okay, what kind of wild things are happening? And the other one had more pure thoughts about it. And she's like, I get that, everybody's born naked and, it's natural.
Yeah.
And so I was really surprised by their reactions. I kind of expected the opposite.
I would too. Yeah, the opposite would make more sense, at least societally
Right.
speaking. But
Yes.
it's amazing. I still get this, even though just about everybody I know knows that I'm a nudist, naturist, clothes free living person. But
Mhm.
every once in a while, somebody doesn't, and they'll say, "Hey, I heard you're, like to live with your clothes off." It's like, well,
Yeah,
yeah, where have you been? Uh,
right.
but they'll say, "So, what kind of parties you have? You got a lot of babes showing up," and I immediately shut them down. I don't even want to hear the rest of that sentence or question. Like, no, 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 and extremely no. That is not what this is about at
No,
all. In
no.
fact, it's probably more wholesome than you, going to the singles bar, which I know you did last week and picked up 3 women. No,
Right.
the naturist community doesn't do that at all. It's the
No.
antithesis slash reverse of all that activity.
Yes.
And you and I can talk about that till we're blue in our faces,
Right.
but somebody has to experience it to realize, oh, I didn't realize this is great. I feel totally
Yes.
at ease now, right?
Yes, absolutely. And one thing about our group that I like to talk about is we are a very discriminatory group, and I'm very proud of that. And this is one thing where I've told I'll tell everybody that joins that we're okay if there's a woman that comes and does not want to get undressed.
Hmm.
That is perfectly fine. We do not require it at any of our gatherings. Now, if we go to a club, we abide by their rules, but at our house and our hosted events, women do not ever have to get undressed. And part of the reason why I did that is we do have quite a few members that are married men and
Hmm.
their wives do not participate.
Yeah.
And I hate that because I've met these women and they're all great. And, people that we're friends with, they just don't feel comfortable in this scenario. And they're okay with their husbands participating. That's one thing we do make sure ahead of time that they're okay if their husbands come and do things. But we've also started doing once a year a clothed event. So this is one where we'll have, a get together at somebody's house when we say there's absolutely no nudity at this event. And then those members that we have where their spouses do not participate, they come. And so they're able to come and meet everybody in the group and see, who their husbands are hanging out with when they're not around and just give them a level of comfort that, we're not all crazy people. Well, some of us, yeah, we are a bit crazy, but not a bad crazy.
Yeah.
And that's something that I feel is really important for us to do because we're a social club.
Yeah.
We just happen to like to be nude. So I want to make sure that, women are comfortable with it as well.
I've not heard of that idea before, but it's striking me as maybe one of the better ideas I've ever heard,
Yeah.
because I know a lot of women out there, probably too many, who have that reaction. You want to go to a nudist club? No, I don't think so, honey. Let's stay home
Yeah.
and watch a soap opera or something.
Right.
But if they can go in safely, clothes on, not only them,
Yes.
but everybody has their clothes on.
Right.
Now you're letting them deal with people as they deal with them every day and probably have every day of their lives. Everybody walks in, everybody has clothes on, we talk, we meet, we greet, we drink and eat and whatever. And then they can get to know people before they decide, well, why don't I give it a shot? And
Yes.
you don't have to give me a number or anything, but has that happened before where a woman wanders in on one of those nights, all clothes on with everybody, and she
Yeah.
decides, okay, I guess it's not as bad as I thought. Might actually be
Right.
pretty good. I'll go with you somewhere down the road. Has that happened before?
We have not had that happen since we've started doing the clothed events, but we did have years ago. We had a married man that came without his spouse. I made it very clear that his wife was able to come even if she didn't want to get undressed, and she did. She
Oh,
came. She didn't get undressed. I stayed dressed as well so that she wouldn't feel like the only person. She's now a full member of our group. And she gets undressed, every time. And I think she realizes that, nobody's paying attention, but it is very liberating to be able to go someplace and feel fully comfortable in your birthday suit,
yeah.
and not feel like you're being judged on how you look. It's definitely therapeutic for a woman. A lot of us were raised in a time where you had to have a perfect body and
Hmm.
nobody has a perfect body.
Not at all. Even the
No.
women in magazines, they appear nude in magazines. Like, whoa, now there is a perfect body.
Yeah.
and then you learn it's all whatever photoshopped or touched up, and now they don't look
Yep.
like that in person. They look
No.
okay, but they don't
Photoshop
look
and
like that.
airbrushed.
Yeah,
Yes.
airbrush. That's the term I was looking for.
Yep.
And so, but it's still, when you see these images over and over and over again, whether it's a magazine or a movie or Victoria's Secret models, they're not
Right.
nude, but the body's like, oh, I could never look like that. Therefore, I'm keeping my clothes on.
Yes.
That's one of the worst things we encounter, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, I'm glad to hear you guys are doing this, and you're doing a great job out there. And we hear
Thank you.
about you more and more, and that's why we wanted to get a hold of you to begin with when we had Chris on last summer, during the summer.
Yes.
Now, it says on your website you get, even though you're Indiana naturist, you have members from Ohio, Illinois, Iowa, Michigan, anywhere else that we don't know about?
Those are the biggie. Oh, we do have somebody from Kentucky.
Wow.
So
Okay.
we do have people, throughout the Midwest, and we're open to everybody, no matter where they live. We're located in Fort Wayne, and we're a non-landed club, but a lot of times we'll do get-togethers at our house. But we do ask our members, if they're able to, if they're comfortable to host something, because we like to have things spread out, throughout the state or in Michigan, anywhere near around where people can get to,
Mm-hmm.
and not always have it in Fort Wayne, because, from Indianapolis, it's a 2 hour drive. Further south, it can be 3 hours. And we want to be able to host things, where it's convenient for other people. So we try to get like some of our Indianapolis couples to host it, different times as well.
Okay, just out of curiosity and strictly for kicks, because I enjoy this kind of information.
Yeah.
And if you know the answer, and you might not, but what is the farthest anybody has traveled to be with the Indiana Naturist for a particular event?
I think it was about 7 hours. We did have a gentleman who lived in Iowa that came to events at our house. And it's funny, he was a member of our group for, I think, about 2 years. We went to Sunny Haven, which is still like a probably 7 hour drive for him. And he loved Sunny Haven so much that he joined Sunny Haven and got a spot out there. And, you know, that's great. We love it when our members can do that and find, a place that they can call home. But yeah, it was about a 7 hour drive for him.
And worth every mile he
Yes.
put on his car because he couldn't wait to
Yes.
get there, right?
Yep.
No, that's great. I had a doctor. I still have this doctor, but I've moved away from the area, and he's about 1,000 miles away. And I thought,
Oh,
well, I could establish with a new doctor, but gosh, I've had this guy for over 20 years. I had his
yes.
son on my baseball team, and I was a baseball coach. I
Oh,
hate to give all
wow.
that up. He knows all the ins and outs and the backstory of
Right.
me. And so I thought, I'm just going to make the trip, once a year for an annual checkup, whatever's going on. And so I showed up, and he said, I can't believe you're here. He goes, you moved, didn't you? I said, yeah, about 1,000 miles away, but it was worth it to have you take care of me. So, of course, he was flattered. And
Right.
he said, but you don't hold the record. I said, really? He goes, no, I have a guy who lives in England. He said, he used to be here. Now he's working
Right.
in England. So he flies here once a year to see me. I said, well, yeah, I guess he beats the heck out of me. And so
Yes.
a few years later, I went, yet another appointment. And I said, am I still number two on the list? He goes, no. He goes, you're now number one. He goes, for whatever reason, and we don't check to find out. But he stopped coming to me. Maybe the travel was too much. He goes, so you're number
Yeah.
one. You travel the farthest to see me. So I understand
Wow.
traveling when you find something you like. In this case, it's
Yeah.
health, obviously. But in your case,
Right.
the Indiana naturist, the guy thought, I don't care if I'm 7 hours away. They're having a shindig.
Yeah.
I'm going. That makes sense to me,
Right.
right?
Yes.
I like on your website. You have a mission statement, and I looked it up the other day again just to be sure I kind of sort of knew it. And a lot of organizations, not just naturists, but anything in the world, they have a mission statement that goes on 10,000 pages with fine
Yes.
print and notes. And could you just tell us what you do? And you guys have it down to one sentence, which that's what I like. Like, just tell us what in the heck you're doing. And you put, simply put, we exist to advocate nudity and nude recreation in appropriate settings while educating and informing society of the value and enjoyment. I don't know if I've heard or read a better mission statement for a nudist naturist club. That's it. That's the whole thing. nudity, nude recreation in appropriate settings. You're not running down Main Street at noon on a Wednesday afternoon, and
Hmm.
educating and informing society, because there's still a lot of people in society who think, oh, you're naked, ooh, that's bad, and
Right.
probably having all kinds of wild, inappropriate parties. And so you're
Yeah.
out there educating people. No, no, it's the greatest thing ever. And so hats off to you guys for developing that mission
Thank
statement.
you.
Easy to understand, also direct, but in one sentence, you encompassed everything.
Yes. Thank you.
Do you take credit for that, or is that Chris's invention, or you work together? Or
That's all Chris.
okay,
He came up with that before I even knew what Indiana Naturist was.
okay. Anybody in your family? And you talked about your dad probably could have been a nudist if allowed to do so. Your mom, no way in the world. Did they ever find out that you've become a fully fledged naturist?
But my mother did. My dad unfortunately passed away. It's been about 22 years ago. So he never got to meet Chris or
Okay.
hear anything about this. But my mother, we told her pretty quickly, and we told my daughter. My mom was just like, I didn't raise you that way. And I said, I know, that's part of the problem.
That's good for you.
But she's come to terms with it, where at first she's like, well, I don't know how you could do that. And one funny thing about it is she told me probably a few months after Chris and I started dating that she noticed I started dressing differently.
Oh,
It's like, what? And she said, yeah, she said, you look really nice. Your clothes are more fitted, they're not baggy. And I was like, huh, I didn't even notice that. But
yeah.
that was something that had changed about me is I wasn't trying to hide myself as much when I was wearing clothes by wearing clothes that were too big.
Okay.
I was wearing clothes that were more, appropriately fitted. I just felt more exposed in them. But yeah, she's okay with it now. You know, definitely stopped her pop-ins because at the house we lived in previously, we were only 5 minutes from her house.
Oh,
It
okay. Okay.
was very convenient. And my daughter, we told her because she was getting upset that we weren't taking her camping with us.
Ah,
And so we thought, well, we better tell her, we're going to clothing optional
mhm.
campgrounds. There's a lot of naked people. And she said, oh, and I asked her, and she was 17 at the time. I said,
Okay.
you're more than welcome to come if you want to. And she's like, no, that's okay. I don't want to go.
Okay.
And then for probably a week or two after that, anytime she would sit on the couch, she'd put a blanket down. And I looked at her, I said, we don't sit with our bare butts on the couch.
Yeah.
We put towels down first. She said, I know. The next time she didn't have the blanket, she's like, I just want the blanket here just to sit on.
Yeah. Now, that's a number of years ago, or how?
Yes.
If you don't mind telling us her age now, how many years?
She's 32 now.
Oh, okay. All right. So 15
Yeah.
years ago. Any
Yeah.
changes in her behavior? Has she accepted it? Does she go with you now, or no?
No, she still does not go with us, but she's accepting of it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
But she does phone ahead before she comes over.
Typically, yes.
Okay.
We've told her, we've told all our family, it's best to call ahead of time, just make sure that we're dressed and we're not having a party. And so they're all, really great about that. It's rare that we get pop-ins, but they do know, enter at your own risk.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I mean, you're upfront about it.
Yes.
If you just walk in the door, you might find at least two naked people and maybe 30, depending if you're having an
Right.
event or not. So
Yep. Exactly.
it's probably a good idea anyway, even if your parents aren't naturists, to phone ahead. But I know a lot don't. They do, I'm going to go see mom and dad, and they just pop in and whatever. Uh,
Yeah. Right.
yeah, I've always tried to encourage people the same way: call first.
Yes.
And I've had a few people say, "Why you're running around naked?" Not knowing I'm a naturist, and I'd look at them and say, "Well, yeah, probably so."
Yeah.
And they don't know how to react. Like, "Oh, I was
Yeah.
just kidding, Frank." Well,
Right.
okay, I might not be. I might have clothes on. If I had to run to the mailbox and I've come in and then you show up before I've got my clothes off, you never know.
Right.
So you might want to
Yeah.
call. So
Yep. Exactly.
that's a good way to discourage people who you don't want popping over from not popping over,
Yes.
right?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What are the plans for the next year? Now we talked about some of the bowling events. You have the Midwest annual meeting for AANR. You're on the board of directors there.
Yep.
Anything else
Yes.
going on between now and let's say a year from now?
Well, we're still trying to put together some of our plans. We've got the 3 bowling events planned already. We'll have to start working on our summer plans for next summer.
Mm.
And we typically have a Christmas party that is at one of our members' houses. He lives near Auburn, Indiana, which is about 30 minutes north of us as well. He's got a lot of Christmas trees and does, games and everything. And so that'll happen in December. We'll plan a few get-togethers at our house, but the resort trips next year, we'll plan some, for the area around, and then of course we always go to the AANR-Midwest convention, and that's always in July. We go for a week and encourage all of our members to go as well. And we usually get a few that'll come for the entire week, a few that'll come for a few days, but that's always a great time too.
Oh yeah, yeah, very much so. We always encourage people to go and have your voice heard, or if you don't
Yes.
want to speak, at least pay attention to what's going on because there's
Right.
always something going on with any organization. And if you're a member, you probably ought to know, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And our convention, it's not like a lot of others. So it's a week-long convention. We have lots of games throughout the entire week. So, we've got pickleball going, volleyball. We do Russian egg roulette. That's a lot of fun. So we do games that are appropriate for any skill level. We
Mhm.
always have a lot of kids that go, so they plan, a kids activity. They keep the kids occupied all week long, and we have meetings about 1.5 days. So on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we have our meetings for the inboard, outboard, general membership meetings. People can go and attend that, see what the meetings are like, or we still have activities going on throughout the day as well.
Okay, well, that's good to hear. Now,
Yes.
earlier in the interview, you mentioned that you are a 100% Anner club. What does that mean? What does it mean to be a 100% club?
That means that everybody who is a member in our group is also an ANR member. So, one thing that we include in the cost of our group is your ANR membership. We do have another price, which is about $25 for somebody to join if they have their ANR through another club. So, that's something we don't require the ANR membership to be through our group, but we can process that for people, and you do get a slight discount going through our group because we don't take the club amount that they charge as well. So we
Okay.
just charge what we have to pay for Anner. And then if you're a member of another club, we charge $25, and we just ensure that you renew your Anner membership every year.
Okay.
That way, if somebody's in a landed club, they can keep that membership as well.
Yeah. So to be a 100% club, the club has to belong to Anner, but every individual within the club has to be a member too?
Yep, exactly.
All right. Now, the last I heard, and I didn't check on this before we started the interview, to be a non-landed club affiliated with Anner, you have to have at least 15 members. First of all, do you know if that's correct or not? And if so,
Yep.
you don't have to give us the number, but you have more than 15, right?
Yes. Yeah, we have probably about 75 or 80
Wow.
members.
Oh, wow,
Um,
that's great.
yes, but yes, to get the provisional Anner membership as a club or a group, you do have to have 15,
Okay.
but you have time to get that 15. And we've got some provisional clubs right now that do not have, 15. We like to see the number go up each month, or each year, they can get more Anner members, but we give them time to get their membership up. And we've got some that don't have any Anner members, and that's a little concerning because the person that runs it doesn't even have their Anner membership. So
Jeez.
but they can stay as a provisional. It gets voted on every year if somebody hasn't met that number, and that just means we're recognizing them as an Anner club, but they don't have all of like the voting rights and all of that available to them yet.
Okay, so to be affiliated with Anner for a non-landed club, minimally the club has to have a membership, but the individuals don't yet. Is that, or did I misunderstand that?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
that's correct.
Okay.
we give them time to get their members, to get their AANR membership.
Okay, but at some point, the individuals do have to become members?
Yes. Yep.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
And does it have to be 100% to be fully affiliated?
No, to be affiliated with AANR, you do not have to be 100% club. That's just a bonus that, gives you, I guess, bragging rights to say,
Mm-hmm.
we're 100% club. And
Yeah.
really, it's just so that we can show our support to AANR and everything that they do to help nudists, as far as the legal rights and just making sure that our legislatures know that nudism and, some other nude activities are not the same.
Yeah, yeah, that's for sure. Now, a couple last questions just to clarify for our audience as well as for myself. Chris said the house was changed from being a pink house when you bought it to painted in Green Bay Packers colors.
Yes.
So the first
Yes.
question is, it's still painted in Green Bay Packers colors? And the second question, I know he's a huge football fan. He said you were not when you first met.
No.
Has that changed at all? The two
No.
questions. Okay.
When we found the house that we're in right now, I fell in love with it. Partially, the layout of the house, the land. We've got almost 2 acres.
Mhm.
We did put up a 8-foot privacy fence around the front of it. And when we looked at it, it was kind of a mauve color, but it was faded. So it looked pink, lots of pink trim. And we're like, yeah, if we get this house, we're going to have to paint it. And Chris said, "Hey, if we get it, can we paint it Packers colors?" I said, "If we get it, you can paint it any color you want."
Yeah.
And so he painted it, green and gold. It has white, still around it, but it looks really good. That is one thing. So it's not like completely green and gold. It's got the trim. It's
Hmm.
done in green and gold and white. And it turned out really, really good. And we even have a green roof.
Wow.
We got
Of
a
course.
steel roof and
That's great.
it's that dark green. So
Wow.
yeah, it looks wonderful.
Have you become a football fan at all?
No,
Not at all.
I
Okay.
no, I've watched a few games with him, but I think I annoy him by some of my questions because I ask the important questions like, how does the snow not melt
Right.
when it's snowing on the ground? How do the players stay warm?
Yeah. Right.
you know, how do they get that paint to look nice on the field? Or, how do they get I did make a mistake, their uniforms, not costumes.
Right.
But
Right.
I found out, how do they keep their uniforms so white?
Yeah.
I ask the important questions.
Well, I've always admired the Green Bay Packers, but they are not my favorite team. So the fact that Chris and I could have a conversation that came off as friendly because it was friendly, I think that's a tribute to naturism too. I'm not sure if we could have had that same conversation with our clothes on. What do you think?
No, I don't. And it's funny. The game last night was a Packers versus Browns game.
Hmm.
And one of our members is a huge Cleveland Browns fan. She texted him after the game and was like, "Oh, I can't believe that the Packers lost to the Browns."
Yeah.
And then I told Chris, I was like, what happened there?
Yeah.
They lost to the Browns. And he's like, "Yeah, I know." And she said, "Are we still friends?"
Yeah. Probably not. That probably ended the
Well, he
friendship
said,
right there.
"Yeah, we are." And so he loves to razz people,
Yeah.
about football. And
Yeah.
he's got a really good friend who is a Chicago Bears
Mm,
fan.
hmm.
And like, if you ask him, Bears versus Vikings game, what outcome are you hoping for? He said, he'll say, he hopes they both lose with 0 scores because he does not like the Vikings or the Bears.
Yeah.
Either one, it's like they both have to lose. But one of his good friends is a Bears fan, and they love to tease each other. That's one
Oh,
of the
of course.
great things, is
Definitely. Yeah.
constantly razzing each other.
Well, they used to call it the division was the Vikings, Packers, Bears, Lions. They called it
Yes.
Monsters of the Midway, and they also called it the Black and Blue division.
Yeah.
So they took no prisoners. Like you rooted
No.
for one of those four teams, and the other three, you hoped they lost every game, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely.
All right. So you're a football widow on Sundays from 1 to 4 or so?
Yes, and
Okay.
he likes to watch every game.
Yeah, of
So
course. Yeah.
it's yep. So that's when I get to go do my own thing and have some quiet times.
That's perfect. All right.
Yes.
Really good to talk to you today. We'll be talking to Stephanie Brown. She, along with her husband, Chris Brown, run the Indiana Naturists. And you guys are doing amazing work out there. And tell our listeners
Thank you.
again your website and how they can reach you.
Yes, our website is www.indiananaturists.com. And don't forget that S at the end of naturist.
That's right. IndianaNaturists.com. And of course, the link
Yep.
is in the show notes as well. Well, if you ever get to Florida, look us up. And if we ever get to Indiana, we'll look you up. In fact, you invited us to join you last summer.
Yes.
We couldn't make it because of all kinds of things going on with
Right.
travel already booked. But one of these days, the four of us will get together. We'll have a good time. And
Definitely.
maybe Chris and I will talk about football. I don't know. We'll have to work that out as we go along, right?
Yes, yes, absolutely, yes. And you're welcome to any of our events anytime. And I highly recommend you try to make it to the AANR-Midwest convention next July.
Yeah, that should be really good. Great to talk to you, Stephanie Brown from Indiana Naturists. Stephanie Brown, go out there and have a great close-free day. We'll talk again soon.
You too. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. The very terrific Stephanie Brown from Indiana Naturist. She's also a director with AANR-Midwest, and she and her husband Chris Brown do an amazing job running Indiana Naturist, a non-landed nudist club in Indiana. And we thank Stephanie Brown for all of her time on these last two shows. And on the next two Saturday episodes, which will be episodes 149 and 151, our special guest will be Jelaine Lombardi, who's written a book all about her experiences growing up in a nudist club and then leaving naturism once she entered college. And before we head for the hills, before we get ready for next Wednesday's show, let's bring back in our naturism correspondent, Lisa Monroe. Welcome back, Lisa.
It's nice to be back.
I don't have enough superlatives to put in front of Stephanie Brown's name, but what a great lady, a true and genuine naturist, and she and her husband Chris run Indiana Naturists. Sounds like one of the better clubs anywhere. Any thoughts on Stephanie Brown?
I feel the same way. She is enthusiasm personified, and she has a tremendous, focus on naturism. She and Chris both, and I would love to see you try to do an interview with the two of them because he was just as enthusiastic. So, I don't know if you get a word in edgewise, Frank. And that's hard. Her interview was wonderful, and it was wonderful hearing from her about naturism and her thoughts.
Yeah, we've been around just long enough. I guess 27 is the age of recognition, where we can pretty much fairly quickly size up a phony or somebody who's in with both feet in the deep end of the pool or somewhere in between. And it didn't take long to figure out Stephanie Brown is the real deal. And we appreciate her very much, as well as Chris, don't we?
Absolutely. Great to have them both on, and hopefully somewhere down the road we'll have them again.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely we will. And we're going to meet them at some point. We just don't know when.
Yay.
And then on the next two shows, Jelaine Lombardi will be here. We've talked about her before. She's the one who grew up as a kid in a naturist resort. Her parents owned a nudist resort in Florida. From ages 7 through 18, she was naked as a jaybird, 25-8, went away to college and put the clothes back on and never went back to the naturism lifestyle. So we'll talk to her about that. She's written a book about it. So that's the next two shows. And with that, Lisa Monroe, let's head for the hills and promise to stay clothes-free until Wednesday. How about that?
We'll certainly do so. And everyone have a great time. I know it's shopping and baking time, so everybody just pace yourselves and enjoy.
All right, sounds good. Well, you've been listening to Naked, Nudists, and Naturists, episode 147 today. We give you a brand new show every Saturday morning, 6 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time, and on most Wednesdays, 12 noon Eastern Time. Continue to join us. Check us out on our website, nakednudistandnaturist.com, Spotify, Google, Amazon/Audible, Apple Podcasts, and also on Twitter. You can write us anywhere, anytime, anyplace. And we thank you for being with us today. Plan to join us for every single one of our shows here and have your clothes off when you're listening. We have our clothes off when we're broadcasting, enjoying the naturist life.
We celebrate clothes-free living for all. Remember to enjoy being naked and join us again for Naked Nudists and Naturists.
We drop a brand new show every Saturday morning, so come back and join us. Have your clothes off when you do for Naked Nudists and Naturists. Have a great clothes-free day.